Hello, my name is Joe Moore. These are 7 keys to being a great Agile product manager. I work for Pivotal Labs. We're an Agile web development consulting company in San Francisco, New York, Boulder, and Singapore. This presentation assumes that you're at least somewhat familiar with Agile software development, which is an iterative and incremental software development process that focuses on self-organizing cross-functional teams. If you're not familiar with Agile software development, there's a plethora of books and internet sites that you can peruse at your leisure. The 7 keys to being a great Agile product manager are vision, ownership, independence, decisiveness, availability, verification, and flexibility. But a little bit more about me and why I'm qualified, I feel, to be talking about this. I've been doing Agile software development for over 11 years and have been a part of dozens of Agile projects, everything from one-person startups in Silicon Valley to large bureaucratic organizations, some of which are internet companies, others more traditional companies such as insurance companies. So I've kind of seen the gamut of Agile projects. And I've always been an engineer. So why me? I'm an in-the-trenches software developer and coach. I am taking this opportunity because I really want to speak sort of from the horse's mouth, so to say, and talk to product managers about how they can better serve their engineering team and how their engineering team can better serve them. I think a lot of people who give seminars and presentations and such are sort of giving it to their peers. And I think it's important for people who might be more on the quote-unquote business side of the organization to hear directly from those on the technical side of the organization of how they can work together better. I'd like to give practical, pragmatic, day-to-day advice about how to work with your Agile engineers. Yes, it's about helping you, but also it's about me being selfish because, hey, I like to code and coach. And if I'm not coding and coaching at least 80% of the time, then I'm not as happy as I could be and might not be as effective on the team. The 7 keys, let's go through them. Vision over documents. As engineers, we need an enthusiastic figurehead for the project, the person who really encapsulates, embodies the reason that we're developing this product. What we don't need is a big document that we have to reference all the time, or that you have to reference all the time. We're smart people, we can read. But what we do often lack that we can't get out of a document is product vision, sort of that the themes, principles, and guidelines for why we're even creating this product. We're looking to you to be the physical embodiment of this project. If you have great vision for the project, you can also have great ownership over it. We want this to be your baby, not just one more thing for you to manage, one more thing on your checklist. We are looking for a single point of contact, and we don't want to have to run all over the organization trying to figure out, get a question answered or something like that. We're looking for you to be that figurehead and also that person who's ultimately responsible for getting the product delivered. We want to know you have skin in the game. Independence over bureaucracy. This is about your empowerment to make decisions and change directions versus having to go through sort of a lengthy change control process or get a ton of sign-off because we are iterating and you're seeing updates to the software ideally daily, and hopefully customers are seeing it too. We want to know that you don't have to always go and ask the knowledgeable person when we need an answer to a question, and we also, because telephone games are inefficient, we also want to know that if we have new knowledge, new information, that you have the independence to change course and course correct without going through a lot of change management protocol. Decisiveness over delegation is about you once you have the independence, the empowerment to make a decision, that when faced with a decision, you'll actually make it versus just delegating it to somebody else. As Agile engineers, we don't want to hear you say that you don't really care what we do, just do whatever we want. We want you to have the vision and the ownership to care deeply about every decision that's made on the project. And even if that decision is to not do anything at all, we want those quick decisions regardless of whether or not you're choosing between maybe 3 designs that we've come up with, or the decision might be that those 3 designs, none of them are sufficient, and we need to either change direction or delay making that decision, put it aside for now, revisit it later, move on to something else. Availability over meetings. Most people who are familiar with Scrum and Agile are familiar with the daily stand-up or the daily Scrum, which is an amazingly quick and efficient touch-based meeting that engineers have in the morning. But beyond that, the most valuable way of touching base and communicating is not meetings for us. It's you just being around. Agile engineers are incredibly demanding of our product managers. We're always asking questions, always verifying with you that we are doing the right thing. So rather than having to schedule that time, or rather than having to track you down in other meetings or wait until you're available, just being around is an amazingly efficient way of making sure that we can get our questions answered as quick as possible. Verification over assumptions is sort of the reverse of your availability. This is talking about our availability as engineers. A lot of product managers, as product managers, you're probably always thinking about ways of changing the product, making it better. And what we would really appreciate is if, as you're working through these different business cases and features and such, and doing research, to come to us and talk about what you're thinking about. Let us sort of give you an overview of from a technical point of view of what you're asking for. So tell us what you want, and we can tell you if it's easy or hard, or cheap or expensive. And that way, even if we're not going into a ton of detail, we're hopefully abolishing or working around some of the assumptions you might have about what's hard and what's easy. And that way, when it actually comes to us estimating how hard a feature might be on the product, we don't have to unroll your assumptions to get to the right answer. Flexibility over stubbornness is just a reminder that there's an almost infinite number of ways of implementing a piece of software. Your developers are going to have their set of experiences from other projects, and you'll have your own. Always remember to look at other sites and see how they implement a particular feature that's common to your application. And also, don't forget that perfect software is extremely expensive to make. Sometimes good enough software is good enough. Always weigh these things when you're developing your product. So this might be a bit awkward, but what do you do if a PM is a middleman who has no product vision and can't make any decisions? Well, you're not. The great thing is that you're not doomed, but hopefully by seeing this presentation, so open your mind a bit, or the PM that it's opened their mind a bit to ways that they can work more closely with their developers. A little bit of bonus material here. What if I could build my perfect PM out of spare parts? Are they a mythical creature? This is just a pie chart of different qualities and great product managers that I've worked with in the past. The interesting thing here is that the greatest PMs I've ever worked with have always been geeky PMs. They have some design chops or some developer chops. Maybe they've never been a professional designer or a professional developer, but maybe they have some side projects that they tinker with. They're passionate about technology. They're passionate about design. The really great ones that I've ever worked with have those qualities. And maybe this guy, maybe he's the perfect PM. Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Joe Moore, Pivotal Labs, Twitter @JoeM, and joemoore@gmail.com.